Hello everyone, my name is Ivan, I'm an SRE engineer, and today we continue to work with strace, this perfect utility for tracing system calls, and I strongly recommend you to watch my first video about strace where I cover all the basics. So today we're gonna troubleshoot the fourth exercise, and let's try to run it without strace and see what happens. Nothing. And we can see the exit code for this particular program execution, and it is 1 and we need it to be 0. So let's try to strace it with strace and perf to our executable file. And well, what do we see here? Standard flow, exec v system call, some open close system calls, and here we see a bunch of errors with open add system call and UFS start system calls. Basically it describes that our program is trying to reach some kind of a library with this particular name, lib nonexistent.so, and it gets an error while accessing this library because there is no such file or directory. So it iterates over different locations where this library can be, and there is always an error. And after that we see write system call to file descriptor 4, and where you see the output you need to create this library, and also we get an error bad file descriptor. Let's now try to trace it with ltrace to see library calls, and here we see less output, and the first line here is dl open of lib nonexistent.so. So basically our task for this particular exercise is to create this library by ourselves. It is not so hard, and it is basically 5 commands. So let's try to create it. So first we need to create a file that will contain the sources of our library, and I can do it with vim and the name of non-existent library sources. Here we paste like dummy function and save this file. After that we use the GNU compiler to create our shared library with name we have already seen in our strace output. And now we can see the type of this file. As you can see, it is shared object, dynamically linked and not stripped. And also we need to copy this file to location of where our program can obtain this file from. So we copy it to user local lib, and now we write ld-config with sudo to update cache of locally installed libraries. And now we can run this program one more time, for this time without strace, and see what happens. We get the word success. Let's now try to use ltrace with s flag to see both library calls and system calls. Bug 4. And here we see a bunch of system calls because their names start with sys underscore. And here we see opening of our library that we have already created. We see open add system call for this library and file descriptor 3 when we see that this library is closed. And after that we see write system call which writes success to our std out, to our terminal, and finally we see exit with status 0. So we have finally solved this issue. Thank you for watching this video, subscribe to my channel, bye.